And welcome back to Stories from the River. This is your host, Charlie Malouf, and I'm here with my good friend, business partner, and the president and CEO of Riverstone Logistics, a supercharged, fast-growing company in North America, headquartered here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're here for our sixth and final, I think, episode in this conversation. Charlie, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Charlie, and thanks for it's been 5 wonderful ones so far. So looking forward to this one.
It's been a great day. Being able to spend the day and some time with you. Yeah. Don't get to do that often enough. So any time spent with Charlie Workmon is you're going to laugh, you're going to have fun, you're going to maybe have some emotions and good emotions, and then spend some time in thought and learn and grow.
Welcome to Stories from the River, a show in which we go behind the scenes at Broad River Retail.
So Charlie, we left off with Riverstone and just this great company that's growing, doubling and tripling almost every year. One of the fastest growing companies in Charlotte, one of the best places to work in Charlotte. I think you said over 650 employees, 31 states, 3 countries. And so I know you've got some exciting things, but it doesn't happen with that. It takes a village, right?
Absolutely.
Talk about your team, your leadership team at Riverstone.
One of the great learnings I had coming out of Broad River was that too often I tried to do things myself, or I wasn't as conscious of other people's goals and aspirations. And I think one thing you did, not just really well with me, but you've done really well and modeled really well for me and for others, is being genuinely interested in what other people are trying to accomplish in their life. And once you're enrolled at that level, you have a personal motivation to see that through for them, or to do what you can to facilitate somebody's dreams, happening. And so I think that's really what I've been able to transfer over to Riverstone, is just really setting my mind on my people and making sure that, it's nice that we get recognized as best place to work. But really what we're looking for are just long-term relationships where I want to be engaged with my people. I want to know what they want to accomplish. I want to know why they're at Riverstone. And I want to know how I can help them grow as people and love them well. I'm so blessed with the team that came around me. And really where we are today as a company, I'll mention some names, but the reality is that the company has grown, thankfully, so far beyond me and the relationships, client relationships and others that I've had, to the point where I know if I was to walk away tomorrow, this company's going to be set to thrive. And it's a good feeling. It's a great feeling. And it's something that I wanted to accomplish. And coming from, a career of being kind of a maverick or on an island and really, muscling through things without consideration for collateral damage sometimes, especially where people are concerned, I've wanted to make a very conscious effort to do the exact opposite with Riverstone, which is to be so people focused that I'm building a company that ultimately will thrive and flourish with or without me. And of course I want to be with it. So, but, early in the Riverstone reboot, or whatever recharge, in 2020, we came by a couple of great people. One of them, Mason Bradley, who had joined us as a field support supervisor. He was just on the dock, kind of trying to make sure things were going well and handling a lot of back end paperwork. And he came to us complete 180 in his career, from CPA to all of a sudden he's working on a dock doing logistics things. And so him coming along was something really special. He very early he bought completely into what Riverstone could be, maybe even before I did. And he really, he's just the type of person who will love you so well as to tell you from a very genuine, humble place what you're doing that maybe isn't jiving with what God's intended for the company or for the moment, and always willing to tell me what I'm doing wrong, but also the best encourager, like just the one who's the biggest cheerleader.
And he's your chief administrative
officer. He is now from field support supervisor to chief administrative officer, which is amazing to see how he's grown as an executive, as a leader, as a human. So proud of him. I also got the opportunity to be reunited with Burton Oxford, who joined us at kind of the tail end of 2019. He rejoined us through beginning part of 2020, and then when I went to Riverstone full time, he came along with me and didn't know much about what he was doing, but true to Burton, like he just latched on and just figured it out and did such a great job. And he started with us as director of, I think, claims and a number of other things. And he just wore a lot of hats. We all wore a lot of hats in 2020 and 2021, but he's now our EVP or SVP, sorry, of customer care. So very, to see what he's done. He's operating 3 different call centers in 3 different countries and doing so well at it. And, his passion for people, his growth as a human has just been something I'm very thankful to have seen. And he makes me better. So, again, just another person who's not a yes person by if anything, he's just a flat out no person, but he's great and, always sees blind spots where I don't and still serving that role today. Kevin Cook came alongside this talent. Kevin Cook, who is really good at sales and really good at operations, and he really came and helped stabilize things operationally, but also really take off from a sales perspective, where it really graduated from the contacts I was able to bring, client relationships I was able to bring to the fold. He brought a whole new suite of clients into it. And then as the company's matured, we found James Mosley, who had started as an intern with Broad River Retail, working on Sherry Rivera's team. And he's just a light, a wonderful lover of people, and just a very smart person who sees the world differently, who sees solutions where other people see maybe a gap, a lack of opportunity. And he joined us as an analyst. I think we gave him a more lofty title, but he was an analyst, and he's now moved on to be the president of our brokerage division. So
he's like the ageless wonder too. He doesn't age.
He still looks 17.
Yeah. At the end of the day in Fort Mill, amongst like ping pong battles, he and I would get the football and we'd throw it the length of the office.
Yeah.
It would be our thing for like 15 minutes every afternoon.
I love that. I love that.
All right, James Mosley.
So James Mosley, and then we really were able to bring in a diverse skill set of people, a lot from my past. So Jennifer Williams, who was our leader of the year in 2023. We have Danny Hansen, who's our SVP and really oversees all of our Lowe's relationship, and Mike Alm and Kent Ferris, who was actually my boss way back when I was overseeing a region of Home Depot remote locations. So honored that he came back in the fold. And Sean Doyle, who was our first chief operating officer, and he served in a lot of roles for us. Just one of the wisest people I know, and a very good accountability partner, a very good operator who's still mentoring people in our organization. So there's so many to name. Addison, Bill McCoy.
Yeah.
Very talented team.
That's awesome. So it always takes a village, right?
It does.
Riverstone's been so involved in the community, and I don't know if that comes from the mutual prosperity, being super generous, just something that's super important to you, and maybe it's a good segue to talk about faith. I remember, by the way, I know you've given some great praise on each of your people, and let's keep this to one episode. But if you've ever, this is just a joke on Charlie. He can say whatever he wants. But if you ever have been at a meal at Charlie and let him say grace, your food's gonna be cold. Do you still give 30-minute grace?
I've been told that I pray long. So.
Order a salad, because you don't want anything warm, because it won't be warm. But they're great. They're great messages. It might be good for bedtime or something. I don't know. I'm just kidding. We mess with each other. I used to walk by your office a lot, and you usually have the Bible opened up, and maybe you were in early reading, getting your reading time into the Word, or you'd always have this thing that said "Pray big."
Yeah.
And so I know has faith always been important to you? And is that why you want to be, I know you said we want to have a really generous spirit with Riverstone. So talk about your faith and dovetail into kind of giving back and let you kind of go into the community.
Yeah. Well, thanks for asking. No, faith hasn't always been central in my life. We grew up and we went to churches, but we really, as a family, it wasn't really a big part of our life. And junior year of high school, that changed for me. I professed Jesus as my Lord and Savior, and but I didn't know what that meant, and I didn't really have necessarily a good grasp on how to live it well. But it certainly was a change that happened deep in me, but a long journey. I mean, I'm obviously a sinner and super imperfect, as we've heard throughout each one of these episodes. So, but I think as I started having kids, especially, and as Courtney and I started getting more ingrained in community, first in Marietta and now here in Charlotte, where I'm very grateful to call home now, and hopefully a forever home for us. My prayer life is taken on a different kind of speed. I mean, I think the older I get, the less I know, the more I want to hit my knees and pray. And really, I think especially through the first part of my career, all the way really through the fire, I think one thing that changed in me that was very faith-centric is I went from trying to manipulate a lot of circumstances, and kind of grit through things solo and all those things that we've kind of touched on. Really, the realization for me was that I needed to live life open-handed and to be there for what God had for me. So if Riverstone's going to work out, great. If Broad River's my place, then that's my place. If I make a trade with you and Manny and Riverstone falls flat on its face, that's okay. I was prepared for that. Spiritually, I had burned the ships, but I'd burned the ships in a way that was different than before, where I'd burned the ships from one opportunity to the next, still surging towards this dream I had. My dream got reconfigured to be more, less tied to my own manipulation of what the outcomes of my life were going to be, and more willingness to just be open-handed with what God has for me, and to love the people around me right now. So I definitely still struggle with wanting to manipulate circumstances, of course. I'm the CEO of a growing company, so I'm constantly thinking of ways to mitigate risk and control outcomes and to grow. But my heart position has changed the older I've gotten, and I feel like God has really been crafting in me a desire to just leave a legacy, and that legacy extends beyond a logo.
Yeah. And so just Riverstone, you just signed a big deal with the Charlotte Knights, and you brought along Congregations for Kids. Now, what people may not know about you is you and Courtney were foster parents.
Yes.
Who then adopted Ellie.
Yeah.
So you've got, we didn't say you've got six wonderful
children. Kids,
I think a couple of them, one or two of them were born in Charlotte.
Yeah. We got a couple Charlotte babies.
Yeah. And so you got six total children. And so why is fostering so important when you talk about Congregations for Kids and the Charlotte Knights partnership and giving back generously?
Yeah. So, well, first, what I came into when I met you and Jonathan is I came into two people who were really well established in Charlotte, and had a great network of other people who were like-minded and very purpose-minded. And you introduced me to Rob Kelly at For Charlotte, and a wonderful organization doing wonderful work, really connecting the city and especially its churches. But I went to him, and I am a father of an adopted daughter. I went through the foster care experience with my wife. Before Courtney and I ever got married, we knew we were going to foster. We knew we were going to be open to adoption if that's what happened. But we knew the state, through Courtney's work as a social worker, or a preparedness to be a social worker, we knew the state of foster care in our country. It's an epidemic. It's awful. And people choose not to look, or just don't know because the information isn't presented to them in a way that is made obvious, in part because the government so fiercely protects the identities of the people, the kids, that are constantly at risk and vulnerable. So we knew we were going to go down that path. We've lived that out. We're not done living that out, by the way. We've had 6 kids, though, so we need to pay attention to the 6 we've got and focus on them and their growth. We have Ellie, who's been a bigger blessing to us than I think we ever could have expected. But So you introduced me to Rob. I said, Rob, I need to be plugged into the foster care network. How can I do that? He's like, well, funny thing is For Charlotte spun off another nonprofit called Congregations for Kids. And this organization works with DSS here in Charlotte and Department of Social Services and really, goes and recruits foster parents because there aren't enough foster parents to meet the need. Mm-hmm. And so they recruit foster parents, they prepare foster parents, they help come alongside DSS in supporting them and their social workers. And social workers, such a high turnover rate, what those folks deal with and see, it's very easy to see why. But they need support. They need to know that they're seen and loved by the community that they work in and aren't just seen as, a cold government official, because that's not what they are. They're people who genuinely want a better life for kids that are having a really hard life. And so we got introduced to Congregations for Kids, and I arranged a meeting with Nicole Taylor, who's the director of that organization, and has done such a wonderful job. And I'm pretty sure in the first meeting she asked if I would be on the board. I don't know how it happened. It happened quick, though. I ended up on the board, ended up as treasurer somehow. And anybody that knows me knows that treasurer should be nowhere near my name. But the reality is I got involved in this wonderful organization here in Charlotte. And as I stepped over to Riverstone full time, I knew that on the giving strategy side, I wanted us to be an inch wide, mile deep. And I didn't want to spread dollars out over a lot of organizations. And it was nothing against any other organization. It was that we needed to stay focused on a cause and make the biggest impact to that cause that we could, both nationally and, of course, locally. And locally, we've chosen to do that through Congregations for Kids and to help them raise awareness, recruit more foster parents, be in a better position to help mentor foster kids and to help provide tangible needs that social workers aren't able to get through government channels to kids. And so we've really rallied around that and taken it so seriously that, really, we're now the official logistics provider of the Charlotte Knights, which is really cool. There's no way we do that unless the Knights say, we'll come alongside you with Congregations for Kids and really make this mainly about lifting up Congregations for Kids and making it a real presence in our ballpark. And so we were excited to do that.
That's super cool. And I know you know about Chris Tomlin's organization, Four Others. That Chad Spencer's involved with. And
wonderful organization.
We've supported and I also support, I love the Something Big event, and we'll be there again and support with Congregations for Kids. And then I feel like you need to meet Jesse Cole of the Savannah Bananas.
Oh, I can't wait to meet Jesse.
And he and I think his wife's name is Emily. Emily Cole. They have their foster parents, and they also created a nonprofit called Bananas Foster.
That's awesome. That's so great.
So
love that organization.
Let's go rapid fire.
Yeah, let's do it.
So do you have a favorite book? And it can be spiritual,
sure,
business, personal, fiction, nonfiction.
Wild at Heart by John Eldredge. It's been a consistent presence in my life since college, and really helps me think about how God sees men and our role in the world, and our calling to be better, more loving, more caring, more fierce advocates for the people we come into contact with. Love that book.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite movie?
I do. Braveheart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Big William Wallace.
Read them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Biggest mistake that you made that turned out to be kind of a blessing or a big learning for you?
Ooh, man.
One of.
One of. Yeah. I think you got to cite a couple of mistakes we've already touched on. So the mistake of falsely starting a company, meaning false start. It wasn't time to start Last Mile United.
I'm surprised you would list that as one of your biggest mistakes.
Well, I think it was a mistake. I think it was there was a lot of naivete around, how to do that and how to do it well, and to go engage somebody in a multi-million-dollar contract. You better have your stuff together because they're relying on you.
I get it.
And so it was a false start, and I had to unwind out of that before I got too far down the road, and just to watch the blessing of it. First the learning, but also just to watch how broken and messy turns into beautiful and fulfilling. And so that would happen again, over the summer of 2020 with the fire and the decisions that led to that. That would be a big one. Certainly there are plenty of personal ones to choose from. So that would be me. Just
What's one of the biggest misperceptions about you?
I don't know about misconception. I don't really spend a lot of time thinking too much about what people think about me, but I would say that, um, I move very, very fast, and it gives an illusion of ready, shoot, aim. And there have been absolute times where that has absolutely been the case, ready, shoot, aim. I think I still, that misconception still exists even in the Riverstone world, because you look at the 100% plus growth year over year and the decisions that it's taken to get there. I would say that our people would say we make a lot of very quick decisions. So it gives the illusion of that. What I would say is that I think I've gotten really good at the thinking time component. Really good is relative. I'm not great, but I'm really good at considering and letting things marinate for months before acting on it. Just playing the game of chess that I've gotten to front row seat to see other people play. And so I would say I'm more thoughtful before making those decisions than it might appear.
They may not see all the thinking time that goes into it. So the challenge is, how do you bring them along to get them up to speed?
And I'm still not great at that.
Carefully. Yeah, that takes a skill set. I'm not great at it either, but we can both work on it.
Yeah.
What's one of your best daily habits?
Prayer. I wake up pretty consistently very early in the morning. I go outside even when it's cold. I love the outdoors. So I come alive out there, and I do my best thinking time out there, but I go outside, and I pray. And so I just
pray and walk. Are you still?
Sometimes I walk. Sometimes I'm in the hot tub. Sometimes I'm just sitting in the chair right outside my bedroom. And whatever it is, I want to be able to give God the first thing I do that day.
Can you share one of your prayers, or one of your prayers personally or professionally?
Yeah. So professionally, my prayer is that Riverstone never gets too big, or the momentum doesn't carry us to a place where we lose sight of our purpose. And I mean it. If we can't love people through this, and we can't serve our communities well, if it becomes too much about profits, which is a necessity but can't be the show. I'm not trying to build a business empire with Riverstone Logistics. I'm trying to build a platform to bless people. And in a business world that is often very difficult to do in, I just pray for the organization to be put in positions to do that, and to bring people along that'll hold me accountable to that. And to keep, hopefully getting the fuel in the tank so that we can do that. And then personally, and I pray for my kids. The older they get, the more complicated they get. There's 6 of them. And so, at any one point in time, 3 of them are thriving and 3 of them are struggling. So it's, just I walk that life along with every other parent. And just so I know my heart just bleeds for them, and love them, and I want to raise them well. And don't know how to do that great, but I'm trying.
Middle school's been the challenge for us.
Oh, boy.
I don't know how to stop time, because they grow so fast.
So fast.
It moves so quickly. And then you just wake up like, golly, I remember when they're just babies. Or Facebook will remind you of that with the memories, or your photos will pop up. Remember this 3-4 years ago?
Yeah.
Riverstone's getting more into like socially posting.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So I was ragging you on that for a little bit. But no, they're getting really good at it. So kudos to the marketing team.
Yeah.
And I saw where you had a physical wellness day at Riverstone. So what about haven't you taken a new approach to physical wellness and health and wellness?
Yeah, I have recently. People that have been around me a while know that my weight yo-yos, my routines they alternate between extreme and stable.
I've seen some of the
no doubt
the
about
hair
it.
and the
No doubt about it. So I'm a mess, y'all. I'm not good at it. I've got great models before me that have done really well at building daily discipline and setting standards. I would say that I am back in a place right now where I've lost about 15-ish pounds. Long way to go to a personal goal weight, but I'm doing it on the diet side in a much more conscious, non-extreme way, just portion control and eating good things and eliminating most desserts from my diet. So I'm doing pretty well with it, and I've started running, which is a first for me since college. So
I remember a couple of years ago, I thought you were running though. Maybe a couple.
Well, there was running, and there was getting to the race.
Okay.
So I ran my first 5K this past Saturday. Because it has to have been since then. I was training for. I had aspirations for a half marathon when I was going to graduate to, and then I got a plantar fasciitis issue.
Yeah, you're going to run a
fasciitis
half
issue.
marathon with me. Didn't you roll your ankle at that 5K?
I
Which
did.
inhibited you
Yeah,
from-
about a quarter of the way through the second mile. Kept the running motion, kept moving.
You're gritty. I heard you
Gritty,
kind of
yeah.
run stride and stride with. You found a runner. You guys.
Yes, I got passed by an 85-year-old man, and he told me he was 85, so he rubbed it in a little bit there.
So if you could go, I can use the word river here interchangeably for
Yeah,
Broad River,
please.
Riverstone.
Yeah.
If you could go back to your first day, let's go back to January 18th, 2015, and tell yourself what life is going to be like at the river. What would you tell yourself?
I would say that it would be the ultimate fertile ground for learning in a way that can go so much deeper if you allow yourself to think of yourself less and others more.
Wow.
It certainly was that. My mindset wasn't always the right mindset for that, often selfish tendencies, but man, to look back on those 5 years and to see the lessons I was taught, oftentimes not willingly, but really to be in a position to just to both flourish and fail again, and have a business partnership that stood by me through it all and didn't give up on me and kept encouraging me and empowering me beyond my level of experience, let me grow up faster. And it was genuinely a place of love, and not perfect. It's messy, like every family and every business is. But man, I would tell myself that this is an opportunity to go really enjoy it and be open-handed to what God has in store for you, because it's going to be special.
Someone who's considering joining Riverstone Logistics.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to that person?
And get ready to run hard.
All right. Anything else you want to share, Charlie?
No, I mean, look, the only thing I would say is just, I just can't say it enough. Love is a squishy word, and it has misconceptions tied to it. We say it a lot at Riverstone. We've said it a lot in these 6 episodes, but it's real. It's why we're here, to love our neighbor.
What's so awesome and amazing to see. I mean, I know you said what your dreams and your prayers are for Riverstone, but really what it is, and you've internalized so much. You've been a learning machine for your whole career. Going back to when you were 8 years old and you saw your dad, and this museum of curated memories and everything that you've learned along the way that has positioned you to where you are today, and let your character grow along with it. You've really now become a vessel to let the Lord work through you and to see what he can do through you. So it's really powerful. So before I let you get off the stage, I happened to ask some of your coworkers for a couple words about you. And so we will just conclude with me reading a few statements here, and then we'll, so here we go. Mason Bradley. Charlie is the best boss I've ever had, but he is also the hardest person to work for that I have ever experienced. He refuses to be stuck in the mud with anything. He is a man who makes quick decisions with conviction. That is hard to do when you're at the top, and he does it with excellence. He is an offensive coordinator, and I am proud to be on his team.
Thank you. Thank you for being my defensive coordinator.
From Burton, Oxford. CW has been a great example of servant leadership and giving back to others. His leadership has challenged me to be better professionally and, more importantly, personally. From Jennifer Williams. Proverbs 29:18 talks about how without vision, the people perish. Charlie is a visionary, and as CEO, he inspires us to live out our purpose in a way that honors God, encourages one another, and doesn't settle. He cares about the legacy we leave and success for not just this generation of leaders and their families, but those to come. He walks with conviction, and when a misstep occurs, pencils have erasers. I am grateful beyond measure to be a part of the team he has assembled here, and I look forward to all the adventures ahead. From Addison Moore. Charlie's passion and drive is contagious. Working with and learning from Charlie throughout my Riverstone career has been a true blessing for me. He makes every day an exciting one, and I always look forward to hearing where he was going to take us next. He is a true visionary with unmatchable charisma. He's an amazing boss to work for, and no matter how things are going, he will have your back and support you. From James the Kid Mosley. Charlie cares about people personally, their families, then work. In that order, I know he is working for Macy, Miller, and Margot, not just me. He loves stories, movies, and sports, and relating what we are working on to one of those. It challenges me to take a seemingly complex item and think of it in a different way and have fun doing. Charlie leads from a position of humility and trust in Jesus. He reminds me daily that he isn't perfect at it, and while that may be true, I know he goes back to Jesus daily asking for more faith. This has changed my relationship with Jesus, the way I see our community and work. From Bill McCoy, Charlie Workmon is a visionary leader who is unafraid to challenge today's corporate norms by prioritizing the human aspect of business in every way. Generous and tirelessly dedicated, he inspires those around him to strive for excellence daily. Working alongside him has been a blessing, fueling my motivation to contribute to his vision for the company, community, and industry at large. I am a better person for knowing him. Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks,
From
Bill.
T, from Tanisha Starks. Psalms 37:23 states that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. When I think of Charlie, this scripture comes to mind and his goodness coming from his adherence to the will of God. I have seen him exhibit a commitment to those around him that is unmatched. His dedication to loving our neighbors, serving our community, and improving our industry is a constant reminder of what we were all sent here for and continued motivation that we are all working toward a common goal that will bring glory to God. Coming here is the best career decision that I have ever made, and I look forward to continuing to work alongside him in mutual surrender to God's purpose. These are good. I got two more. Sean Doyle. First off, Charlie has his priorities in order. Faith. God comes first, and he does everything for the glory and honor of God. Family. His family is of utmost importance to him. This includes his RLX family. He professes his love of us openly. His famous line is, "I love you all. I don't have to know you to love you." And then community. Charlie knows that for RLX to succeed, we must be a part of and give back to our community. The last 3 years have been an adventure building Riverstone Logistics with Charlie and the team he has assembled. I am honored to call Charlie my friend, my brother, my leader, and most importantly, my mentor. And from Harold Barron, the chairman of the board, and an investor. Charlie, as a business partner, he is strong-willed, tough, and disciplined, but balances these qualities out as he is a great listener with a big heart, emotional and compassionate. Charlie is a natural leader that commands respect through his tone, body language, and proven results, but ultimately succeeds because the people he surrounds himself because of the people he surrounds himself, and always the consummate team player. He is structured, organized, planned, and disciplined on executing his vision, but not afraid to pivot on a dime when situation calls. He is purpose-driven beyond money and success, and he leads with a fundamental and core belief of Christian values and giving back that is not for show or attention. It's personal and meaningful. So, Charlie, this has been an honor and a privilege to have you here on the podcast. I didn't mean to make you cry, but thanks for coming in and during several hours of just sharing your story, your time with Broad River, which is super meaningful and impactful, your time at Riverstone, building Riverstone, and where Riverstone will be going. I'm your biggest fan, your cheerleader, maybe not, maybe Courtney and Bud and your mom are your biggest fans, one of your biggest fans, and I love you as a brother, and you're so meaningful to me and to my family. I've been enriched in knowing you, and so blessed to know you and call you friend and brother. So with that is the Charlie Workmon series from Stories from the River. Thanks so much for joining us. We try to bring, this is how we do it here. We try to bring you fresh new content every week, and bash that like button or check us out on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Any final words? Take us home.
Yeah, thanks for making me cry, and I love you, and I love you, whoever's watching this. I don't need to know you to love you, and thank you for subscribing. Yeah,
that's so good. Thanks for the plug and shout. Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening to Stories from the River. To check out more episodes, visit storiesfromtheriver.com. Join us again next week, and remember to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast.